Scott Page, who's been coming on the show for about a year now.
A little over, actually.
Over a year?
Yeah.
It's ignited something inside you coming on the show, right?
It has ignited me, yes.
It's so much so that it's created a new platform for you.
A new business, actually, a new startup that we're calling
Ignited.network.
Ignited.network, and we're launching the Ignited Artist Accelerator Program, which is a kind of a whole new way to think about how to develop artists and give them the opportunity to learn the new tools and the new ways to kind of build their own business.
Now, you see an artist, if it's done right, like an investment into a startup.
No, absolutely.
Right?
I mean, today the model has shifted so much because remember the gatekeepers used to be the record labels, and they used to home and now you have direct access to the customer or the fan, so you really don't need anybody. You just need to know how to convert and basically create value for your customer base.
So let's step back before we dive and meet our artists today. The old school model, when a label was very active, they would go off and incubate an artist.
Yeah.
They would come up with some cash to help them produce their album, help market them, and do all that. By the time the artist became somewhat successful, they had to pay back the label and all the other costs. And there's a high probability that would actually be in the hole.
Oh, more than ever. I mean that happened all the time. So, I mean, real quick for the audience out here, the model is the record company comes in, throws a couple $250,000, go do your record. It's great. You make your record. They put it out. Let's say they sell 500,000 records. From that 500,000 records, the record company takes 85% of the dollars, leaving the artist with $750,000. But oh, by the way, we got to recoup all the other money the record company put out first to do your video, to put the record on. The next thing you know, you're about $425,000 in the hole that gets carried over to the next album. So after you've done 3 albums, you end up about 1.2 or 3 or $4 million in the hole.
So if you look at traditional venture capitalists that go after an app company or whatever, there's an incentive right away saying, hey, we're going to put X amount in your business. If the business does well, we'll take 30% of whatever that money is.
Yep.
And then you'll get the other upside.
Yes.
So there's a huge motivator, right? You're looking at artists the same way. You're saying, hey, we're going to be like a VC almost.
Yeah, well, we are. We're putting a fund together to basically fund artists. So once they go through our accelerator, we're learning. We're basically validating, just like, Y Combinator or some of those other companies.
The successful platforms
We
out
want to
there.
find out the artists, how they think, how they can think out of the box. Are they good communicators? Are they easy to work with? With that, we have funding sources that are ready to fund those businesses.
So since you've gotten so good at this, you're becoming an outlier on this. You get to hang out and mentor our artists that we have come in here. We have an artist that joined us about a year ago. Very hectic schedule about a year ago, right? Tell us, what is your name, sir?
My name is Luis Narino.
Luis. Band is?
Noble Creatures.
Yeah, Noble Creatures. But it was actually about 14 months ago. You hung out here, and you were just coming out with, we don't call them albums. Do you still call them albums?
This one we called an album, yeah.
Why is it still called an album?
I know, it's interesting. Well, it's a collection. Isn't an album a collection of songs?
How many songs?
We had 9.
Okay, so that's a collection.
Thriller was 9.
I didn't know it's called an album.
Yeah.
We came up with an 8-track.
Yeah, right.
And in that 14 months, how's it going?
It's been going well. We haven't actually reached what we wanted to do, which is, well, we're working on it right now. It's booking a tour for fall. But we did get some music videos and stuff and kind of got some attention that way too. So it's been good.
Because when you launch anything, let's pretend we're doing a Kickstarter campaign. If you do it the right way, you have to make sure we have the video established, we have our social network ready to be engaged, we have the story. As the campaign is going on, we know there's going to be a couple of series of posts to motivate people and get people excited. So when you come out with an album, there's a lot of pre-work before that album comes out, right?
A lot of, what do you call it, data farming?
Data farming. There's a term.
We were definitely searching online names, places to contact afterwards. We had just have a list. It was insane.
See, that's smart. I mean, that's one of the things that I find so fascinating is a lot of artists aren't using that tool called Google and all the other social network search engine kind of things to be able to really find who your exact audience should be. Who is that audience? Clearly, you have to understand who that audience is first, and that's part of why you want to kind of go through the process you're doing.
I got a great little spy thing for artists to use, and you're going to like it, okay? You're going to like it too. So let's just say there is a band that sounds like you. Okay, but you're better than them, and you're trying to figure out who are their fans. Because once they're exposed to you, they will like you possibly more than the other band. And let's just say you find out they're playing at a certain location. By the way, it doesn't have to be a band. It could be anything, okay? It could be for a trade show. If you have a trade show that's competitive to another one, this is what you do. You go into Facebook and you type in that location saying, let's just use the Federal, okay? Friends that were at the Federal, and you put the date inside Facebook. And it'll show you whoever checked in at the Federal on Facebook that night, knowing that that band was there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Facebook allows you to do proximity location searches.
Yeah.
Right? So I could do the same thing saying, hey, anyone that's going to NAB, which is a big conference right now, any of my friends at NAB in Vegas, right? And it shows me all my friends that are NAB right now. And I wanted them to go to a friend of mine's party at NAB, and I sent them a link to that party, right? So I found 40 of my friends that were right there, right? 36 of them went to the party.
Sweet.
That's a pretty cool push, right? Just an idea on how to use proximity.
Well, see, what you're doing, that's actually a really great hack. I think the main thing you're saying is artist or any business needs to start thinking about how data works. How do I use it?
Exactly. That was perfect. I love that you said that.
It's fantastic.
So here's another one. Last thing before I dive in it. This is a very interesting campaign going on in this presidential election. And the question is it big money or big data that's more important?
Well, big data surely made this last race.
Last one. And that's what everyone's focusing on. It's not about going after the big donors. It's about the big data. And why not being an artist using big data, which you are saying you're doing? I'm proud of you, Louis.
Trying to.
Well, when you say trying,
we
what are you trying to do that you feel like it's an uphill battle?
Well, for us right now, we've been performing for a little over 7 years, probably 8 years, and we finally got our CD, that's another story, or album last year. But our thing right now is kind of, we've done like the local festival circuit and things like that, and we've done certain podcasts, and we've also done a certain level of venues and everything, but I kind of feel like we've gotten to a point where we need some sort of representation and build some sort of team that can push us into the next step.
One of his companies was called Seventh Level, which publicly traded company, went on the stock market, which to a lot of entrepreneurs, that is like the top. That's Everest.
Fascinating trip,
right?
Man. Fascinating
And in
trip.
some ways, it's one of the scariest places to be because transparency and everyone's eyeballing you.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, there's a lot of money value and thing that happened to it, but I'll tell you, it's like kind of sticking pins and needles in your eyes because you're constantly spending so much time dealing with your investor or investment banking.
It's all
groups.
management.
You're just like managing that thing, and you always have to be on top of it. Obviously, you're a public company, so it's
Think
very
about
tough.
it. You're a rock and roller that had a publicly traded company. That's mind blowing.
It was actually
really
quite a
is.
ride. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I'll tell you, what a ride.
You played on the wall and you were on Wall Street. I mean,
There
come
you go.
on. How cool is that? At least
yeah.
I think that's awesome. Scott Page, I appreciate you hanging out with us. You are our mentor, not just one day, all the time. All these artists that you've been helping out over the years, I really appreciate that. I really do.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I talk to a lot of them. They all come on the show. We've been doing strategy sessions and really trying to do it. It helps me, too, because I'm launching my new business, and it's great
Ignited.network, that's where it is. Noble Creature is the lead singer. Hey, Louis, what is your title? Are you like the CEO of Noble?
Yeah, I'd be the CEO.
Do you call yourself that, do you?
Well, you said, is it like? And I said, yes, it's like. And it is a business, like we do kind of try to present ourselves that way. So
we love, you brought, what is that, Centaur? What is that? What do you got?
Yes. No, that's a Court, which actually people haven't heard of Court very much, but I like it.
No, Centaur's another kind of instrument. It's a funky
that
one.
Centaur is crazy.
But we would love to hear something from you. Up for it?
Yeah.
Louis, the mic's all yours. Go for it.
I played a track from the new album. It's called Fire, or I Feel Your Fire. In your heart until it breaks open. It began with a spark, set free by explosions. What a light to behold, what a life to admire. With fear we are bold, so walk straight through the fire, baby. Set my soul on fire. It's down to the wire, and I'll never be the same. Inspire, keep lifting me higher, 'cause I wanna stay awake. Fire, I'm feeling your fire. Respira y muévelo. Fire, oh, I'm feeling your fire. Respira y muévelo. Respira y muévelo. Respira y muévelo.
Yeah, man.
You know what I love
It's
about
a little
artists?
early.
Yeah.
No, it was
Excuse
awesome.
me.
It was great, man.
And I said this to Scott a couple of days ago. We were hanging out. And I go, "You are in that zone, and that zone is there is nothing in the world that matters except what you're feeling right there as you're singing."
Yeah, it's
right?
definitely a feeling.
It's like your own heaven at that moment,
No question.
and
no
only
question.
artists could really feel that, or athletes.
The zone.
I'm telling
Right,
you.
the zone,
yeah.
and that's where, and it's so exciting to see that, because I actually close my eyes and I'm hearing you sing, and then I look at you and I know where you're at, and it's such a great feeling. You sound great, Louis.
Yeah, man.
Thank
It
you.
really
Thank
is.
you.
Excellent.
You guys should come hear the band. It's a lot
Where are
of
you
fun.
performing? Where can we find you?
We're going to be at the Virgil. We got 3 gigs lined up.
When?
We just had our first one. The next one's going to be May 16th.
Okay.
And then the other one's in July 18th.
Go online, find out more.
Yes.
Right.
Noblecreatures.com.
Buy tickets there.
It's a free show, actually.
How do you make money doing that?
We're actually I'm approaching them to see if we can make a night of it and prepare a certain night.
Let's
and
talk
put out that.
after this. Let me see if we could help you out, because we've been helping out a lot of the artists. I mean,
Yep.
we were just with Abby Posner. We filled up her place
Place.
2 weeks. I mean, filled it up, right? We had, and then we also did stuff with Collide.
Collide, yeah.
Which we filled their place up too. Let's
Right on.
help you with that. You up
Cool.
for it?
We'd love that.
I
Yeah.
love that idea. We want to support you guys. You brought something up really interesting. You said, I want to talk about team building, which, man, when we talk about businesses, team building is all about it, of course. And
Yeah.
a band's like a team. It's a business.
Yep.
Where's your questions and ideas around team building?
For us, I think it's just kind of. I feel like we're at a place that we need representation in order to get us to the next level, because we've already done kind of the local type things and things like that. So I feel like we need to kind of get us somebody who knows how to approach and has the connections in order to tie us in with the right
What is that,
people.
Scott? Is that an agent? A manager?
Yeah, it would probably, an agent, manager. So are you manager now? Do you have a manager?
Yeah. No, we don't have one right now. We're basically doing it all ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, the what you're bringing up, I believe, is probably one of the most important things that most artists don't really do. They don't really set up their business in a way where who does what with inside the band, because that's really critical. I mean, they don't even set up their business infrastructure and stuff like, how much do you get? What happens if you leave? All
Right.
those things that need to be put in place, because you have to think ahead for the worst case scenario. Most artists think, oh, we're in it together and we love it, we're going to be there. And all of a sudden something happens, somebody falls out. What do you do in those cases? Especially if you're getting people to get invested in your band. Now, team building, there's a couple stages, 2 things. I go back to this. In order to attract the right person that will come on to help your business, first of all, you need to know who they are. Who is the right manager for you, or who is the right agent?
How do you identify that?
Well, that gets down to doing research again, to finding out in your space who is the guy that has the most who is the leading guy in that space. Do you have an idea who that is?
Well, there's a couple people that I've kind of
you
looked
have a
at,
hit list?
especially through the artists, because I'm always looking at the artists and being like, who's surrounding them, what
So you have a
companies are
hit
with
list.
them.
You have like that list of who you would love to be represented by. Is that correct?
Yeah. And another thing with that too is finding the contact for them, because I have tried to contact several management companies and booking agents and stuff like that. But it's trying to get through the front desk that's difficult.
Can I
things
ask
like
a
that.
very stupid question for both of you guys? Maybe it's me. How do you know you're good enough? And I'm not challenging you. I'm just says, how does an artist know that, hey, we're good enough for them to want to talk to us? Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, if you don't, again, it's knowing who you're, what your goals and what you're trying to do. You want to get into the head of who of that guy that's sitting there and understand who they are. So how do you know if you're good enough? It's going to be, they're going to look now. That's the difference that we had before. They're going to be looking at the data, the labels, the agents, the managers. They're going to want to see how big is your reach.
Yeah, does
What
metrics
your
make a
super-
difference? Like, what's the view on YouTube? Well, what kind of Facebook?
All of that stuff is now becoming more and more valuable because everybody knows that it's owning that fan
So
base.
would
is
it
really
make
the key.
more sense before even listening when someone says, oh, I'm going to go to Noble Creatures and they have X amount of followers here, X amount of views, before they even hit play, that's going to resonate with them right away.
No question. No question.
Does that make sense, Louis?
Yeah.
How are you doing on that side?
Because I've heard that, like, you build up the numbers and basically representation will come to you, you know. It's building. I know since last time I was here on Facebook, we got, I think at that time we were like, what was that, 600? And now we're at 9...
We got to build
960
that up.
or something.
We got to
like
build that up.
So.
We got to build that up.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, that's why building the team is the right thing. First, identifying who it is. Second, you want to find out, build your team internally, right? Knowing exactly what each guy in the band. This is so important.
So here, real quick, I want people to understand this is business of music. We're doing this on Business Rockstars. Scott Page is our in studio. He's just our mentor. Great bands he's been part of, plus publicly traded company. Ignited Network is his new incubator. Lewis is with Noble Creatures, which is based in Los Angeles, but they're going to be doing a tour around the country. Just say yes. Say yes. I think what Scott said was really, really strong, and most people don't understand it. 60% of a brand, regardless of what brand is internal. Right? Internal. Think about Apple. It's internal. You go to an Apple employee, they bleed Apple.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because they get the brand. So is your group brand internalized properly? Do you guys know what your roles and responsibilities are? The function, the message. You know, where do you want to be a year from now? Do you all have a uniform message? Have you done that? And if you have, that's great, right? Because then externally everyone will get it.
Because the message, again, goes back to everything I'm telling you, the goal to rise above the noise. Remember, everybody's in the game now. There's so much music. There's so much stuff. We already know that the music in general is pretty much free. You know, especially when you look at some of these sites where, you know, artists are making $30 a year selling their records and stuff. It's rough. Yeah. So what are they buying? They're buying the engagement, the unique experience. That's really what you want to think is what kind of unique experience can you put? But going back to story, your story is going to be very important to attracting the right management agent people, because that's the part that gets people to buy into you. If you notice, if you will listen to any of the reality shows, the music shows, The Voice, the first thing they do is talk the story. Yeah. And we even had a guy that was on here. Remember, he was up to be on The Voice. He got all the way to the top, and they said, "You sound great, but your story's not good enough."
Yeah, they said it was too boring. He said it was too boring.
So it wasn't just about the talent.
I'm too normal.
My life is mediocre for you. That's good. That's great.
Because what agents, everybody wants to see is, how are you going to convert fans into paying customers? That's all they care about. They got to make money, and you want to make money too. Because remember, it's either a business or it's a hobby. If it's a hobby, great. All rules of just go play, have fun. But if you're going to be business, you have to really think like a business. And the thing that we have now that we've never had is the ability to really target an audience. I mean, like, really target it. Our brother Ben sitting over here knows about targeting audiences.
Which is important. I think somebody we need to get you back at the group that I had you share a morning with. And I think the ask is different. Like, for example, let me just I'm really amazed by the entrepreneurs that walk in here that ask more than I expect them to when the mics are off. Okay, Let me give you an example. Had an entrepreneur walked in here the other day. We did our normal radio thing. Mics went off. He goes, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Can I record a podcast with you right now and use your name and market it through your network right now?"
Great hack.
And I go, "Wow, yeah, done."
Great hack.
I love when people ask more than I expect, and because generally I'm going to say yes, because you just gave me an hour of your time. Why wouldn't I give you something, right? Like, would you want us to record you playing something and all of a sudden we upload it? Maybe we could. I'm not sure if we could do that today.
See, what you're talking about, I think, is something that's really important. Is I call it's a kind of a 3-stage process. Hey, I know I'm going on the Ken Rakowski Business Rockstar show in 2 weeks. Okay, what can I know about that show, the people involved, everything, so that I can figure out how I can become important and make the most out of this opportunity?
Do you think music has been disrupted?
Oh,
I use that term not in a loose way, but
the business of music.
Do you think it's turned upside down now?
Oh, there's no question, because now that you have the consumer is becoming more in control of the business than it is the actual company that was running it. The consumers are now taking. There's a whole new revolution that's going. You've heard of CRM, which is customer relation management. Now we're going to VRM, which is vendor relations management, which is a whole new term where the where the consumer controls all their data, controls everything, and vendors are pitching them based on trust. Big thing. Doc Searle up in San Francisco,
Doc.
yeah, is basically heading that whole thing with his book, The Intention Economy. That whole idea. So there's a whole new world, and so what's so important, I think, for artists and everybody is to stay on top of where things are going, so you can look for opportunities to jump into the market and take advantage of the rise of certain things that are happening, platforms that may be happening, they're taking off. If you know they're coming, you can jump on them early, right?
Interesting. Okay, so right now, it's the perfect time to be in the music industry, but you have to be really good.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing, is the difference is the big number one reason artists fail is they don't know how to market in this new world. Because if you go back to the concept, we always talk about the 1,000 true fans. If I focus my energy on a handful of people, that 1,000 people, and they put $100 a year against my business, there's my first $100,000 in revenue. No label would ever take you for that. And you try to generate $100,000 off of a record or something, it's crazy.
So, Louis, sorry, Noble Creatures, I went to your website just now.
Yeah.
Nice website.
How do you like it? You like it?
It's actually a really nice website.
Thank you.
How do you use your website? What's it used for?
Just basically to have everything in one kind of hub, and mainly I want to get people on newsletter.
What's the ethical bribe for me signing up for the newsletter?
The ethical bribe. Can you expand on that?
Why would I want to have your newsletter? What are you going to give me? Give me something. Give me.
As far as a product?
You're going to give me a free download? Are you going to give me something?
Oh, actually, we do that. Yeah.
I just saw this great website. They have it's a drone company. And what they do is when you sign up for the newsletter, they give a drone away one a month for people that sign up. That's a $90 drone. No big deal, right? But people sign up thinking, I'm going to get a drone, right? But what are you giving away? Maybe a concert ticket, maybe a cool video that we'll send you saying, hey, Noble Creatures want to thank you for signing up for our newsletter.
Or is there a problem you can solve?
What's that
for
mean,
you think? So
Scott?
I know
Come
it's
on. What do you mean?
Problem solving. In other words, a user will buy in if you're helping them. And one of the great areas right now on the web is teaching. Teaching sells. I mean, the data is proving if you can help people move forward. So in your case, you may have something that you really care about. It's like take System of the Down, right? The band.
Okay.
Their whole model has been around the genocide of the Armenian genocide, right? So they've built this massive rally. Now they're coming up to this thing. They've been actually working towards this for years.
So what can Noble
they're
Creatures
rallying
solve?
people. Well, that's the question. We'd have to do a deep dive into what you guys care
What's your
about.
cause?
What's your cause? What do you stand for? Do you have something you stand for? Because if you do, you can create a rally cry and get other people that have like-minded to stand and rally around what you're about.
Yeah.
What's your cause? We buy your new album, 5% goes to what?
5% go to... See, this is the kind of thing that
This is important.
Important
Right?
stuff.
Definitely.
And you can mark it up 5% if you want. I'm just saying. But there's a cause. What is it? It could be something as ridiculous as we just want to fix potholes.
Yeah, and the reason that's so important is the model is this. The worst thing you can do, and all the marketers, everybody online, you don't talk about yourself. There's a rule called, they call it the 80-20 rule. 80% needs to be about them and 20% about you and what you're doing. So you're constantly engaging the audience and helping them. What can I do for them? Right? You're always thinking that way. And so once you know your audience, well, what do they care about? Who are they? What do they care about? Is there something that, like I said, that you can create a rally cry? And that could be, it doesn't have to be just a cause. It could be a hobby or something that you care about where there's audience. Because once you do that, then you can start targeting that group of people and start building that relationship. Remember, 1,000 fans. Look, if you guys had 5,000 people spending $100 a year, you'd be making $500,000 right now. You'd be able to focus on your business probably, right?
Love that.
Exactly.
It's 5,000 people on a global basis.
But he's got a big band.
Yeah, maybe
a lot
it's
of hungry mouths
maybe
in his
6,000, but still,
How many people are in your band?
It ranges from 7 to 10.
It's
depending
a
on the
big
show.
band. It really is.
Yeah, but those horn guys are just sidemen. We just pay them a little cash on the side.
It's like Edward Sharp. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, hey, Louis, one other just critique. On your website, it says September 2nd. That's old.
Yeah.
Unless it's September 2nd, 2015.
Got it.
Right? I would get rid of that because
Yep.
it shows something that's dated and you don't care.
All right.
Yep.
All right? Just a thought. Just say, hey, debut album and get rid of that date now.
Got it.
Okay? Something.
Yeah.
Do you know a graphic designer?
I did all that.
I know you did. That's why I'm kidding.
Yeah, I
You
could
can
just
fix
totally
it.
do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Hey,
Totally
how often do you communicate with your fans on your email?
It's mostly through the social network.
So but you're having to
through
sign up to
email.
this email. So what are you having them sign up for?
For those, I usually do them about 3 months. Every 3 months, I send out.
It's not often enough.
Oh, buddy, you need to. That's where you convert.
You
Those
guys,
people in there will convert.
You guys are going to hang out.
Yep.
Lewis, people, if you want to find out more, it's noblecreatures.com.
Noblecreatures.com.
I am Scott Page and ignited.network.
Yes, please.
Gentlemen, thanks a lot for hanging out with